Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox coming to you today with a review for Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 14, I believe it is. I don't have long to get this video done. Child, my friend was having a crisis this morning. You know how it is when duty calls. You got to sit and walk your friend through some things. So, because of that, we are going to get through this video, and I guess Raising Cane will be up later on, child. I don't even know when, because I don't have time on my lunch break now to get them both done. Okay? All right, but we going to get this one done anyway. Raising Cane will be up shortly, maybe tomorrow, okay? But this will be up on Monday. Anyway, you guys, the review. Let's get to it, shall we? Also, you guys, a disclaimer. You know, I still do have my cough, even though I sound much better, but it's hard for me to do certain voices, meaning Marlo. We'll try, but don't expect too much today. All right. Now, remember the show started with Ross telling everybody don't fuck with his wife. Okay, he don't roll with like that. And he leaves because he says that he was witnessing his wife drowning and he didn't like the way that looked. So he wanted to make sure that she was okay. And I was like, well, Ross, you have properly been inducted into the the Real Housewives Husbands Hall of Fame. And now you know, like I said, that anytime the men get together with the women and they get into these cat fights and shit, the men don't really know how to maneuver it. You saw how the rest of the men who've been around longer, with the exception of Maneta's husband, I believe he's just going to stay quiet anyway because he has sense. But the rest of the men were quiet, right? It's because they know. Ross now knows, and we'll talk more about what they say about Ross later, because I know you guys think of me when you be watching these shows and then you be like, Roxanne said that, Roxanne did tell you. Y'all gonna listen to Amy one day. Anyway, while Ross gets up, Sonya follows him away, and Kenya is still not understanding. Why was it that Marlo was there, but Kenya and Sheree wasn't there, and Sonya didn't think to look out for them? Listen, I understand that we've got to make this show entertaining, but I'm over it. I'm over every single thing having to be a discussion or a fight. I'm ready for the show to be done. I have enjoyed the season. I'm not complaining about that, but it's just sort of like, okay, this is right around a time where I done had enough. Okay, let's get on to the reunion and let's get on to Potomac because Atlanta has run its course. Okay, because it's just like Candy said, why are you guys this upset? You had a good time on the catamaran. Okay, why do you even care? And like Sonya said, she was working. And so, no, she's not going to have time to just sit and figure out what Kenya and Sheree was doing, especially with the fact that Kenya has numerous times shown up late or hasn't come. So, I mean, I can kind of see where Sonya was coming from, okay? Surprise, surprise, because, you know, Sonya has worked our nerves this season too, but this trip to Jamaica, yeah, Kenya's been wearing on my nerves. She won't let it go. Candy was just like, well, it's apparent that it was a miscommunication. And Drew was like, well, what is it? That I get called on my shit, but nobody else can get called on her? She can't get called on hers? Oh, Drew, shut up. You just want her to be in trouble just because you always getting in trouble? It's so fucking childish, you guys. She feels like the girl should have apologized or something. I was just like, oh God, I'm so over it. I'm just tired. It has to be so tiring to always be in this, you know, feeling like you gotta raise an issue all the time. I was just like, I don't have time for that. Like, that's one of the reasons why big trips with a whole bunch of people, you know, it don't always work out because it's always somebody that's just in their fucking feelings. So I was just like, I'm over it. Anyway, Marlo says that Kenya, she's just mad because John left her on day one. Oh, I got through that one pretty good, you guys. John probably figured that this is not the scene for him. You know, it's just, it hardly work out for the husbands that season that's been around. You know, you can't bring a new nigga off the street and think that everything's gonna be okay. So I don't blame John. Candy says, okay, listen, it's just been a long, rough day for everybody. Here goes Drew again. Well, and you know, we all have rough days. We all have rough days. That doesn't mean that we should. Okay, Drew, be quiet. Just be quiet. So anyway, After Ross and Sonya, they cool down, they come on back. Sonya's just like, I am going to try to be as clear as I can about tomorrow, and make sure that everybody understands the itinerary so that I don't upset anybody. I just really don't think that we need to be pressing Sonya so hard on this issue, okay? I think that is more on Kenya, all right? But whatever. She tells them, thanks them all for coming, and that the next day, you know, she tells them what they're going to be doing, and we seem to end the night a little bit better. Ross did come back with her too, so I mean, you know, because it's a team effort now. You got to come on back. And he seems pretty mild-mannered and pretty reasonable, so it's just sort of like, okay, I mean, but I still hope Ross is ready. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, we leave the night, and we pick Drew up, who's in her wheelchair, make sure she doesn't have to roll on the cobblestone, take her back to the bus, fine. Now, the next day, we see Sheree. Sheree is talking to her people, okay, because she is getting ready for her fashion show. And true to She by Sheree form, some of the pieces are not going to be there in time, okay? And I'm just like, I'm not understanding. Like, why is it that you would plan this thing and it still fall through? Like, you can't afford for She by Sheree to be a flop again. You'd have done better not bringing the shit back, you know? You ain't got pieces. They ain't made. I mean, it ain't like you showing a full line. They couldn't make 10 things, you know? I mean, I'm not saying that it's easy, but it's just like if you're going to step into the fold, I don't understand why she didn't order that shit off of Alibaba like everybody else. All right? And you trying to make shit and all this. Girl, ain't nobody buying that mess. So I'm just like, okay. I'm irritated because, you know. Anyway, Sonya has to go to work. Okay, and so she sends Marlo a text message and says that she wants Marlo to be the host in her place. And I was like, why, out of all the people, would you ask Marlo to be the host? At this point, you should have had Manetta do it. I know Manetta's not a housewife, but everybody on there rubs somebody the wrong way. Manetta's the only one that's neutral at this point. Kenya gets on Marlo's nerves. Marlo gets on Kenya's nerves. Marlo don't get along with Candy, okay? Drew gets on Sonya's nerves. It's just sort of like, let's just have somebody that's completely neutral. Marlo, of all people. So Marlo comes downstairs, you know, when everybody comes down there. She's like, attention, everybody. Okay, Sonya put me in charge. I'm the host because she had to go to work at iFit. Now, we see Sheree. Sheree actually doesn't join the group. Sheree actually took a cab or whatever to the location, the iFit location where Sonya is filming, because she, you know, she did want to go. She didn't go the day before because her and Kenya got left or whatever, so she's there now, you know. So after Sonya gets a little break, you know, she tells Sheree, well, it's not a break, it's over, okay, we wrapping up. And Sheree was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, you know, the driver got lost, they didn't know where to go, whatever. Sheree is there, but she kind of missed all of the activity. So Sonya and Sheree sit down, and Sheree, you know, is happy to be there. You know, Sonya tells her how she could tell that Sheree was disappointed that she didn't get to go the day before, as opposed to Kenya. And again, I'm just like, I know it's a show. I know this is what they have been told to do, but it's still just sort of like, why are you confiding in Sheree? And you know Sheree is the bone carrier. She is the one that is going to go back and tell Kenya. I mean, at this point, you obviously want Kenya to know how you felt, okay? I mean, I know that the producers probably tell them, make sure that you communicate with the girls, and, you know, you talk to the other girls and you lean on them when there's problems, and, you know, so that we can keep this whole reality show machine going. But it's just sort of like, you know, I was just upset. I was disappointed with Kenya because she just want to be mad with somebody at this point. Because if Kenya was at Dancing with the Stars, do you think that she would have stopped and tried to call and check on me? No, she would have been busy. And I do believe that Kenya would not have checked on Sonya if the roles were reversed, because Kenya can be just as petty as everybody else, okay? And that's the whole thing. It's just sort of like, nobody wants to remember when they was doing the shit. They just want to, just this one instance, if they happen to be right, But all the other shit that you did in the past, you expect people to just ignore that? The fact that Kenya hasn't been showing up, has been late habitually, but now all of a sudden the one time that you was on time, you was upset. How about to give a motherfucker grace? Like, yeah, I guess I was kind of late. I mean, even though I was here, but I mean, I guess, like, instead, it's just a fight. It's the show. It's the show, you guys. Like I said, it's time for it to be done for me. So Sheree tries to explain to Sonya that Kenya's always going to express how she feels. You know, she kind of always is going to come for you because that's just who Kenya is. Okay? One of the qualities that, depending on what it is, sometimes we love Kenya for it and other times we don't. Okay? So it's just the nature of the beast, you guys. Anyway. Back with the group, though, like I said, Kenya and Kandi both are like, why would you have Marlo host? All right. You know, it's just sort of like you trying to make us pissed off. So Marlo tells them, okay, so Marlo told him, since she's the host, okay, come on, let's go. All right. Everybody gets on the bus, you know, including Kenya and Kandi. Well, I just realized that Drew is not coming. Okay. And Todd was like, oh, Ralph should have came anyway. Leave Drew there. Okay, Drew can't walk. This girl is in a wheelchair. Her foot is swollen. Okay, so no, she ain't going on the excursions. Anyway, they get to the location. Sheree is already there. I didn't realize that they were actually going to meet Sonya at her iFit location. She was on location or whatever, doing whatever she's doing for the program. So Sheree is already there, you know, so they're all like, hey, oh, you're already here. You know, yeah, Sheree's already there. So Sheree tells them that she's gone, Sonya's gone, she went to go freshen up and everything, and that she'll be down later. But again, we already have Marla as the host, so let's just go on with the day. But Sheree tells him that she saw Sonya working, you know, in action. And, you know, she was happy to be there. And of course, Kenya is upset. She's not happy with the way that Sonya deals with conflict. So again, Kenya has something to say. I'm just like, whatever, I'm over it. So are the fucking birds in the tree, because they start shitting on the table. Like, okay, you know, while they sitting there eating, somebody gets a little boo-boo on their shoulder or something, and then they realize, I guess all the birds at one time was like, 1, 2, 3, shit. So, you know, they all was like, ah! So Marlo was just like, let's go sit by the pool and eat. You guys want to go sit by the pool? Well, some of them want to go, others don't. Okay. So Kenya says she's not going, and she was just like, okay, fine. Kenya can stay here with the birds and the shit and everything. Come on, let's go. Whoever's going to the pool. So the only person that goes with the persons that go with Marlo to the pool is Manetta and Sheree. And Marlo was just like, okay, well, I got you guys here, and I just want you to know that I'm venting. Okay. All right. So Marlo explains to them how upset that she was that Kandi had inserted herself into the discussion that she was having with Ralph. Okay. All she heard in the conversation with Ralph was the fact that he was not adopting the little boy, but he had already told the little boy that he was going to adopt the child. And so that was a trigger for Marlo, and that set her off. But she couldn't understand why Kandi jumped in it. And you know what? I mean, I will give Marlo that. Yes, Kandi didn't have to jump in the conversation, because if she would have kept her mouth quiet, then Marlo wouldn't have gotten to it with Kandi. I can also, anybody that has any sense that's logical can see why Kandi would jump in, because Marlo is a hypocrite, okay? But sometimes I guess you got to choose your battles. Kandi chose to fight that day, okay? So, I mean, I'm not mad at Kandi, but yeah, if Kandi would have been quiet, then so be it. But Marlo would have probably figured out a way to work Kandi into it anyway. Okay? So Marlo said that she does realize that she went low. And maybe she did overstep her boundaries. Maybe she shouldn't have said some of the things that she said. However, she doesn't like the fact that Kandi used her situation in this conversation with all the people around. So Manetta was trying to explain, like, yeah, I guess I do understand what you're saying too. You know, Marlo's just like, I take accountability for what I've done. Okay. Yeah, Marlo be so full of shit too. It's just sort of like you take accountability until the next time happens. And the next time usually is later on that day. Manetta was just like, I mean, yeah, you're right. You know, yeah, maybe she didn't have to say anything. But I know that Manetta realizes why Kandi did what she did. Manetta was like, well, Kandi didn't mean to take it there. Well, Kandi wasn't trying to take it there. Marlo was the one who got gutter with it And then that's when the shit really got bad. Then she started talking about Todd, which nobody is going to sit around and let you just do that. You know, if I'm gonna protect my husband, especially because the husbands don't need to get into it with the woman, right? They talked about that later in the show too. I keep telling y'all, this is how it goes. But anyway, Monyetta tries to smooth Marlo over and tell her, like, I understand, you know, maybe it was like a misunderstanding. Marlo cracked me up when she was just like, see, this is why I don't open up. Girl, you run off the mouth all the time about your problems, talking about you don't open up. Because of what? Because what somebody else has to say to you? Girl, you challenge. You welcome the challenge. But whatever. Marlo says, you know what? She's tired of being the host. Like, where is Sonya? When is she coming back? Sonya's coming. Don't you worry. And then sure enough, she shows up and Marlo is just like, I don't ever want to host for you again. Okay, we already know what happens when Marlo hosts. She kicks everybody out. Makes them all go back home. So anyway, Sonya thanks Marlo for doing what she did, taking care of the group. She's back now. She's back the host in charge. Okay, we've got a bus here. This is for us. Let's get on. Ross is staying behind because he's working. So the bus takes them to the bamboo rafting. I guess they thought they were going whitewater rafting. You know, Kenya was like, where's the excitement? Nobody want to get on this shit and just sit here and relax. I was like, that would have been right up my alley. Just sitting on the damn bamboo raft and getting pushed through the lake. Okay? But you know, Todd and Kenya, they was ready for some rafting and shit. And now y'all ain't at the right place. But they all get on their rafts, their individual rafts. You know, there's the guy, the guide that's like, you know, kind of like the gondolier if you were in Italy or something, that's pushing the raft while they just sit back and relax. And of course, the whole time that they're on it, Kenya and Sheree huddled up together as Sheree tells Kenya what Marlo said. And it's just sort of like I said, I mean, what Sonya said. And so, of course, Kenya's getting all... I mean, she's not getting revved up and everything, but you best believe that Kenya is storing all of that for later on when she does have to have a confrontation with Sonya again. And then, of course, Kenya brings up the shit about being scared about Ross. And that's what pissed me off, because I was like, here we go. The fact that Ross didn't get up. He did stand up, but he didn't yell. It was nothing threatening about what he said. If he throws a fuck word in there, that does not mean that means that I'm about to beat your ass woman. Okay, so it was just like, here go Kenya. You know, I was really scared by, and don't you Kenya lovers out there, because I do like Kenya. Okay, I gotta say that all the time, because y'all, you just hate Kenya. You just don't like. That is not it. But for Kenya to say that she was scared by Ross, see, these are the kind of things that put in the minds of the audience. Now all of a sudden, you got an aggressive husband, when Ross, I don't think anybody would say that Ross so far has shown any aggression when it comes to anybody, you know? So for her to be like, I was scared, you know, he got up and he said, you know, he's cursing at us. And I was just like, okay, spare me the white woman tears, okay? Spare me the I was afraid, all right? You weren't afraid. It just kills me how the women just feel like the man is not. But that's why I always say that the men don't need to be on the show. And if they're going to be on the show, they need to take a back seat, because the minute they say something, all of a sudden they arguing with a woman. They aggressive. They this, they that. We have seen it numerous times, number of times, you know, and it just finally came out for Ross. So now Kenya has put it out in the air that he's aggressive. The man is not aggressive. And even Sheree said, well, I think he supported and defended his wife. I don't think that he was aggressive. So, I mean, at least Sheree knows not to put that on Ross. But Kenya, well, she's not above it. But whatever, they have a good time out on the rafts or whatever, and then they go back to the hotel. So Kenya goes to see Drew, like, what are you doing? Get up, come on. And Drew's like, I'm not going nowhere, girl. Do you see this foot? I cannot go anywhere. All right, I am out for the rest of the time. I was like, thank God for small favors. I can't deal with Kenya and Drew and Sonya and Marlo all at the same time. We see Marlo talking to the boys, trying to find out if they miss her, and they say that they do. Sonya and Ross getting dressed. Monyetta goes to Candy's room, and Todd was like, where's, you know, your husband? She was like, he's down at the bar. So Todd was like, I'm gonna go join him down at the bar. So Manetta and Candy speak, and Manetta was like, well, I sat and talked to Marlo, and Candy was just like, oh my God, like, please don't come in here defending that girl. She does this every time she lashes out at someone. She brings up her emotional trauma. Like, Candy is just like, girl, you know, you can't even talk to Marlo, because Marlo act like she the only one that got shit going on in her life. So Candy was like, I've done this with Marlo numerous times. And Manetta, I'm sure she realizes that, but Manetta's also trying to be the peacekeeper. She was like, you know what, me and Marlo did bond a little bit. Well, fine, y'all bonded. Candy and Marlo then bonded, unbonded, rebonded, got back together, not friends, friends again, not friends. Like, we done been through this a million times with Candy and Marlo, so Candy is over it. Candy was just like, I don't need this shit anymore. You know, I'm not trying to worry about Marlo and her feelings anymore, you know, because as far as Candy was concerned, it was the truth. But again, maybe Candy should just do best by staying out of it. Anyways, they all dressed up, they go eat, okay? Everybody goes to the table, and we see Marlo and Candy have on the same exact shirt, except for one has on the black one, Marlo, and Candy has on the Kelly green. They're all supposed to be wearing the colors of the Jamaican flag, you know, for Jamaica, so everybody has on one of those colors, black, green, or gold. And we're hoping that tonight is really nice. Even Kenya said that she almost bought the same shirt. I said, that definitely looks like a Kenya shirt, because Kenya loves ruffles and shit, if you guys haven't noticed. Anyway, Sonia says that she's just there to sit and relax and enjoy everybody's company. So she's hoping that this is all going to go very well, very smoothly. I mean, we're in Jamaica. Isn't that what it's? Hey, man, you know, it's just supposed to be like, you know, just chilling. So she asked everybody what is their highlight. Sheree says that going to the track where Sonia first ran her, you know, when she first started competing, that was a big deal for her. And, you know, Marlo was just like, and Sheree, I'm just so thankful that you were cheering me on. I look at the video and it makes me feel good. So anytime I'm feeling bad, I look at the video over and over again and I hear you cheering me on. It's just like, okay, good. Marlo needs some more positive reinforcement in her life. Maybe she wouldn't be so fucking mean and spiteful. Sheree was like, well, Marlo, did you have anything that you wanted to say to Candy? Here we go. So Marlo said, well, this is me taking accountability. I'm not going to do the Marlo voice because it's too much. But Marlo was just like, when I was talking to Ralph and Ralph was talking about not adopting the little boy, that upset me. That's all I could hear is him saying no. And then for you, Candy, to jump in and bring up my situation with my nephews around these people who I don't know. And I was like, who the fuck is there that you don't know? The husbands? Don't you know wives tell their husbands shit? The husbands is already up to date on what is going on. Everybody that was there knew about your situation with the little boys. I mean, with your nephews. So what are you talking about, Marlo? But you know, Marlo was still trying to make a point. You know, the fact that Candy got in there and said something. Candy was just like, first of all, what I said was true. And yes, I didn't need to say what I said in front of everybody. I apologize for that. But the fact that you started up and you started talking about my husband, that was not true. Because Marlo was just like, everything I said was true.
So you can be done.
I'm gonna be done in a few minutes. Why you need to go?
I got a client at 2.
Okay. At 2? What time is it? Okay, I'm about to be done. Give me 5 minutes. Child, Jada's car is still in the shop. Everything is just so fucking annoying today. But Candy was just like making it a point that she had to take up for Todd because with this particular group of women, we cannot have a man arguing with a woman because then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he always, see, Candy even realizes, I'm not lying to you guys. You guys know that anytime a man gets into it, that's why Peter Thomas is still Patricia to some people, because they called him a bitch and said that he was in, but it's just sort of like, what do you want this man to do? You hear around all of this, but he can't say nothing. So it's just sort of like, that's why the men don't need to be there. That's why the men don't need to be there. But anyway, I've said that many times, right? Okay. Marlo says, next time I talk to you, Candy, I promise I won't bring up your husband. Okay? Negatively. And Todd was like, and next time you guys get into it, please just leave me the fuck out of it. Oh, now you cursing at Marlo. See, I was just like, oh God. Oh my God. Everybody's so sensitive. So we get past that. Magneta says, yeah, it was a lot of energy. It just takes a lot to try to just woo-saw and everybody clear. It's just always the women everybody just jump into a big fight. So anyway, the men get up and they leave. Ross says he has to work early in the morning. The rest of the men leave, so it's just the women there. And Sonya was just like, okay, what's up, Kenya? Because it's clear that Kenya still has a problem. And Kenya does have that passive aggressive thing about her. You know, Sonya's like, I see you're not paying attention. You're looking down at your phone when I'm talking. It's just sort of like you're disengaged. And Kenya, I'm not disengaging, Sonya. My phone is over there in my purse. Like, what are you talking about? The thing with Kenya is Kenya's been doing this for how long? Kenya has all of the shit categorized in her mind. Sonya's new at this. I was like, Sonya, if you're going to come up against Kenya, your ass better be ready. Okay? You better have all of your shit in line. At first, she was doing well when she was telling Kenya how she was acting. But then Kenya got Sonya all tripped up and wanted to know why Sonya had a problem with her. Sonya does have a reason to have an issue with Kenya. Okay? She did bring up Kenya hanging up on her, and Kenya was like, okay, what else? Well, she was like, well, let me think. Okay? And it was just sort of like, no, girl, you supposed to have that shit mentally categorized. Like, even Drew has learned now to make sure that she remembers that shit. Okay? Sonya still got to learn. So Sonya couldn't even really argue. So then it was like kind of making it seem like Kenya was right. Like, okay, I'm not really trying to get into it with everybody. You know, I just need to have somebody that can articulate what they're saying and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, okay, all right. I think Sonya was ready to just get past it because she's not going to win just by just completely not being Kenya's friend. It's easier to be their friends than to be enemies. Your life will be so much easier on the show. Okay, a little conflict here and there, but just always continuously fighting with Kenya. And Kenya, that bitch knows how to fight the long way. Like, she can stay in that shit for as long as she need to. So she'll wear a motherfucker down. So let's just get past this. And Sonya agrees to disagree. And now they just cool now. You know, Kenya was like, did you get me a cake for my birthday? And Sonya was like, no, she didn't get her a cake. So there's that. But we look like we're fine. And then the show closes with them leaving. And I was cracking up when they said that Candy and Marlo made up over a bucket of KFC because Marlo says, the chicken in Jamaica is supposed to be so good from KFC. You know, the seasonings and everything. So she had a bucket. I mean, a true bucket. I was like, they still sell buckets at KFC? Anyway, Candy, you know, always hungry, going to the bathroom, could smell that she had the chicken. She was just like, I was laughing when Marlo was just like, you better be glad that I like chicken, because I was done with your ass. So, Marlo and Candy, for now, have made up over a wing, okay, from KFC. Okay, whatever works, child. All right, I gotta go. Gotta get back to work, you guys. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm itsrox. The channel is itsrox. Everything else I do will be in the bottom bar. All right. So I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, rock stars. Bye.